Hello and welcome to FIA Pure Motorsport. On this week's episode, we'll show you the best cars from the Rallye Weiz. We'll have great autocross action from France, and we'll take a closer look at the cars from the good old times. Plus, much more from the FIA World of Motorsport. The fifth round of the Formula 4 Italian Championship certified by FIA will take place at the Paul Ricard circuit, also known as Circuit Paul Ricard or Le Castellet. The famous motorsport racetrack is located in Le Castellet near Marseille in the region of Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur. Situated in the beautiful French countryside, the surroundings of Paul Ricard offer a stunning backdrop for racing events. The Mediterranean climate adds to the charm and allure of the circuit. As always, the F4 Italian race weekend consists of 3 races. In the first race, one of the title favorites is in pole position. American Ugo Ugochukwu is in second place in the overall standings. Next to him in the black US racing car is the Pole Kasper Stuka. In the second row of the grid are the Prima teammates Wharton and Tapponen. As the leader in the overall standings, Arvid Lindblad only starts from position 9. It's a big chance for Ugochukwu to close the gap. Kasper Stuka with the best start, he's immediately on par with Ugochukwu. Both head into the first turn side by side. Behind them, James Wharton and Tuukka Tapponen. Stuka comes out of the turn first in the lead, while behind the lead group, the field of 37 cars is lined up like a string of pearls. While the pole is able to pull away a little, Wharton puts pressure on Ugochukwu. After a spin, Griffin Peebles loses a few spots and ends up second to last. While there's little happening at the front of the field, there are some thrilling duels in the field itself. Ramirez and Blokina fight for every centimeter and have to use the curbs. Thailand's Nan Havud Beramhakti overtakes Aurelia Nobles and moves up to 13th place. Kasper Stuka drives a confident race and takes his second victory after his success in the first race of the new season. Ugochukwu finishes in second position and reduces the gap in the overall standings to Arvid Lindblad, who only finishes in 8th position. In the second race, Kasper Stuka is in pole position, again surrounded by Prima drivers. Next to him is Wharton, behind him is Ugochukwu and Tapponen. James Wharton has big problems at the start. The Australian completely ruins it, and the field passes him. So Stuka can go first into the first turn without any pressure. Behind him, Arvid Lindblad, who had a very good start, attacks Ugochukwu in 3rd position and passes him. With some braking drama, as many as 8 cars leave the track, including Ruiki Liu, and the race is over for him in the first turn. Stuka ahead of Tapponen, and the battle for the 2 championship leaders for 3rd place. Lindblad defending against Ugochukwu with everything he has. A gripping duel over several laps. Although the American is faster, he can't get past Lindblad. In lap number 9, he finally manages it. Now he's in 3rd place, but the 2 leaders have pulled far away. Kasper Stuka confirms his good form with a lights to flag victory. Tuukka Tapponen is second, and Ugochukwu finishes in 3rd ahead of Arvid Lindblad, who is in 4th position. After his disastrous start in the second race, James Wharton wants to do better in the last race of the weekend from pole position. Again, Kasper Stuka made it to the front row of the grid. Wharton gets away clean and fast, but again, a great start from Stuka. Tuukka Tapponen tries to attack, but Wharton and Stuka go side by side into the first corner, and again, it's the pole who takes the lead out of the left-right combination. Further back in the field, Pablo Sarrazin hits the brakes so hard and leaves the track, luckily without serious consequences. In the lead group, the action is tough. Zachary David defends 7th place against Akshav Bora. And even in the middle of the field, the drivers are fighting hard for every possible position. Then Stuka goes a bit wide. James Wharton takes advantage and regains the lead. The new order is Wharton in front, Stuka, Tapponen, and Badur, then Ugochukwu. When Frederick Lund breaks down awkwardly, there is a safety car phase, but at the restart, Wharton stays in front. On the penultimate lap, Beaton and Rondella clash and 5 drivers leave the track as a result. For the Australian Jack Beaton, the race is over. James Wharton in the lead and appears to be heading to a well-deserved victory. But a few corners before the finish line, he has problems with the fuel pump and slows down. A gift that Kaspar Stuka gladly accepts. The pole passes him without any problems and is on his way to a hat trick at the race weekend in Circuit Paul Ricard. Wharton just manages to defend his position in front of Tapponen, but Dur takes 4th. An unfortunate end for James Wharton, but Kaspar Stuka can celebrate his first hat trick of his F4 career. What a weekend for Kaspar Stuka. He gets a maximum points of 75 and moves past James Wharton into 3rd place in the overall standings. Ugo Chukwu reduces the gap to Arvid Lindblad to 59 points. Long before there was the F4 as an entry-level class in single-seater racing, there was Formula 3. Race fans still admire the racing cars from the 70s and 80s in the FIA historic Formula 3 European Cup. Albert Hiller also takes part in this. Hiller is 65 years old, an engineer, hobby racer, and owner of a 1976 RALT RT1 Toyota. RALT was a manufacturer of monoposto racing cars for Formula Racing. The company was founded in 1974 by Ron Turanak, former co-owner of the Brabham team. The name RALT is a combination of the initials of the company founder and his brother Ron and Austin Lewis Turanak. Nelson Piquet and Ayrton Senna won their British F3 titles in a car constructed and built by RALT. The RT1 was the first model produced by RALT and established their reputation for building strong, well-engineered and competitive cars at an attractive price, and the feeling of racing in a RALT hasn't changed since then.
It is very direct to feel. You feel everything, and the corner speed is much quicker than a touring car, for example.
The RT1 weighs only 450 kilograms and is powered by a 160 horsepower Toyota engine. The engine came from a Toyota Celica and originally had 1600 cc's. The Italian race engine manufacturer Nova Motor built it out to 2 liters.
It has a Kugelfischer ignition pump, a mechanical pump, and you can see here why it just has 160 horsepower, because there's an air restrictor. Not more than this little hole is able to breathe for the engine. Why did they do that? They wanted to reduce the RPMs to keep the life or the engines alive the whole season.
The RT1 has 5 gears and the gearbox was built by Hewland, but the housing is from a VW T1 bus.
Well, the strange thing is, when you want to work on that gearbox, you need to use metric tools, but also inch tools. So it's a mixture of both. So you need 2 sets of tools to work on that. So the back is from Hewland, the front here is from VW.
The cockpit is made of aluminum and equipped with only the most necessary items: a rev counter and indicators for water and oil temperatures, as well as a switch to distribute the braking power from front to rear and a switch for the rear light in case of rain.
And you have here, you can start the ignition, the pump, and the fuel pump, and you have a starting button to start the engine. That's it.
And finally, the gear lever. Everything is lovingly cared for, and so it's off to the racetrack, and then the classic car is not handled with kid gloves.
When I'm driving, I'm not thinking about, well, this is 50 years old. You shouldn't. You should handle it like your grandfather or something. No, I don't think about that.
The RALT RT1 Toyota, a car with a great history and lots of fans. The 6th round of the FIA European Autocross Championship took place in Montaigu, south of Nantes. The track is only 930 meters long with lots of hairpin bends and has lots of bumps. Especially when it's dry, it presents a great driving challenge. The FIA Cross Car Academy Trophy is taking part for the second time this season. In the Junior Series, the young drivers all drive an identical 500cc cross car. Two Belgian drivers are the favorites, Lucas Cartella and Emilien Allard, who won the first event in Germany. Their biggest rival, Frenchman Ep8. Emilien Allard with the best start takes the lead. Pepuyol tries to pass Cartella, but the Belgian defends his position well. While Allard has everything under control, behind him Cartella, Pepuyol and Bernini are fighting for second place. Even after a few laps, the order at the top has not changed. While Allard can pull away a little bit, Pepuyol attacks the second Belgian without a break, but at first he can't pass him on this narrow course. A few laps before the end, Cartella has not only defended well against Pepuyol, he has managed to overtake Allard and is the new leader with the best chance to win the race. But Pepuyol manages to overtake not only Allard but also Cartella in the penultimate turn. But he celebrated a bit too early. Due to a violation of an FIA rule, he's relegated to third place. So Cartella finishes second and Allard with his second win in the second race and the lead in the overall standings. It's the third round of the FIA European Cross Car Championship. David Miat and Ivan Pina Chinchilla are currently fighting for the overall lead. Miat is in the first row next to Vasquez and Vincent Priat. Priat has a blistering start in his black cross car. The Frenchman knows the track very well. He's followed by Miguel Giozo, Vasquez, Miat, and Hernandez. A commanding performance by Priat in the early rounds. While the chasers lose time in the fight for second place, Priat is able to build up a considerable lead to the delight of the French fans. Another French victory. This time it stands. Hernandez finishes second and Chinchilla comes in third. The Spaniard thus reduces David Miat's lead in the overall standings to 3 points. In the junior buggy category, Malone Foyade wants to close the gap on Arnost Florian in the overall standings in front of his home crowd. Next to him on the front row, Philippe Duert. Duert on the left-hand side with the best start. The Czech leads the field ahead of Foyade and Florian. But then Duert makes a mistake and Foyade strikes. The Frenchman passes him. Duert kept chasing and a little later the two got tangled up and Arnost Florian and Jakob Safranek pass on the inside. Duert and Foyade clash again in the next corner. A frustrating final for the two drivers. Duert finishes in 10th position, Foyade a disappointing 9th. His big rival Arnost Florian also wins in Montaigu. Jakob Safranek comes in second and the Dutchman Nathan Otting completes the podium. With this victory, Arnaud Florian extends his lead in the overall standings to 39 points. In the buggy 1600 category, Remo Cobras, Rudy van Buren, and local patriot Thomas Cristol are on the front row. Thomas Cristol gets off to the best start. Damien Crepeau shoots up from behind and is much too fast. A quick end for the Frenchman. Thomas Cristol mastered the bumps with confidence and a lot of feeling. Rudy van Buren, who was outstanding in the qualification, can't quite get close to the leader. The fight for third place between Remo Cobras and the reigning champion Kevin Peters was exciting. A lights to flag victory for Cristol. Van Buren gets second place, Remo Cobras third. With his fourth place finish, Kevin Peters shortens the overall lead to 14 points on Jacob Novotny, who only finished 6th. The final of the Super Buggies. So far, it's been a good weekend for the French drivers. Vincent Mercier and Robert Teul want to continue this. They are on the first row of the grid next to the reigning European champion, Peter Nicodem. The drivers shoot towards the first corner at high speed. David Horek spins, and there's a pileup of buggies. The race has to be stopped. Afterwards, the teams worked feverishly to get the buggies fit again for the restart. Even European champions had to lend a hand. But the most important thing for Peter Nicodem, he makes it to the restart along with 8 other drivers. After the restart, Nicodème and Tayul clash again, this time without major damage, but Nicodème falls far behind. And in the lead is his big rival, Vincent Mercier. The track has become very rutted in the meantime, and Peter Nicodème gives everything to make up the places. With a lot of contact, he passes Denik Antoni and takes over position number 3. Then he catches David Horak in the next Czech duel and moves up to 2nd position. A great race by Peter Nicodème. Antoni also passes his compatriot and secures the last podium position. Vincent Mercier's victory brings him to within 14 points of Nicodème in the overall standings, who prevented worse with a fighting performance. In the 6th round of the Formula Regional European Championship, the drivers had to prove themselves at the Circuit Paul Ricard in the south of France. In the first of 2 races, Frenchman Alessandro Giusti celebrates a lights-to-flag victory. The 16-year-old secured his first win behind the wheel of a car fielded by the G4 Racing team. His compatriot Sami Magwentinov made the French success in his home race perfect with 2nd place. In the 2nd race of the weekend, Andrea Kimi Antonelli has another dominating lights-to-flag victory. The young driver from Bologna achieved a significant result with this success, as he now surpasses his direct rival Martinius Stenshorn in the overall standings and holds a 6-point advantage over the Norwegian. Stenshorn, starting from the 6th position on the grid, managed to gain 2 places, finishing the race in 4th. An elated Esteban Masson held off a late charge from Tim Tramnitz to take 2nd place and his first podium on his 3rd outing with the team. Three titles were awarded at the last stop of the FIA Karting European Championship in Cremona. In the OK Junior category, Thibaut Remkers drove a great race. He passed Locopo Martineza on the last lap to secure the win. It was the best he could do, but Alexander Bondarev's final 3rd place was enough for the Ukrainian to be crowned FIA Karting European Junior Champion. In the OK category, René Lammers was only 6 points ahead of Gabriel Gomez before the final stop. The fast Italian Luigi Coluzio won the race. René Lammers drove in a controlled manner and secured the championship with a commanding 4th place. In the Academy Trophy, Hugo Marti went into the final weekend in 2nd place overall. The last final of the season was won by Wojciech Woda from Poland, but his 6th place finish didn't prevent Marti from taking the trophy ahead of Australian Max Walton. Since the start of the new season, the FIA European Rally Trophy has a brand new and totally different look. Moving away from the previous format of myriad regional competitions, the ERT has been restructured for 2023, with crews contesting one comprehensive calendar of events and one title.
With the previous format of the ERT, we had competitions in 7 regions, and we were giving 4 titles per region. So we are giving a lot of titles. We had a final at the end of the season, but we felt that there was not a big interest of the competitors, and it was also maybe too complicated. So with the Rally Commission, we did an analysis, and we decided to simplify the format, to stop the regional competitions, to have one single competition across Europe, where the drivers, they can choose wherever they will drive.
The competitors are not restricted to how many events they contest, but can only count their best 6 scores. There will be no separate class titles based on car performance, but a coefficient will be applied according to the number of starters in Rally 2, Rally 3, Rally 4, Rally 5, and RGT cars. If there are 3 starters or less per category, coefficient 1 will apply. For 4 to 7 starters, coefficient 2 is used. For 8 or more starters, it's coefficient 3. So if a driver wins a competition with more than 8 starters, he can receive 90 points instead of the usual 30 points for a win.
This format is much more comprehensive. We still have to wait a bit more to see if it will be fully effective, but we see that some drivers are interested with this format, so they're trying to catch a result at the end of the season, so that's pretty good. It's a format which allows also us to spread the FIA regulations, the FIA safety guidelines to the organizers and to the essence.
After 9 out of 20 events have taken place this season, there's already initial feedback from the organizers.
The reaction from the organizers is quite positive. They like to be part of the ERT. At the end, having a single title gives them even more value to the fact that they are part of the ERT, so they like it. For them, it's not a big change. We didn't change really the rules for the organizers. We just simplified the rule. For the competitors. The important thing is that now you can win the title with a small car.
The FIA European Rally Trophy is not only the most accessible international rally series, it's also allowing drivers to win the title regardless of what car they're driving. For years, the Rallye Weiz has been a great attraction for participants and spectators alike, and it was no different at the 14th edition. Rally enthusiasts and competitors are looking forward to this weekend and to an annual motorsport event that takes place in the Styria region of Austria. 44 teams from 19 countries took part in the 9th event of the FIA European Rally Trophy. In parallel, the 6th stop of the European Historic Rally Championship took place. In extremely hot summer weather, the teams had to master 13 special stages over 2 days with a total length of 145 kilometers. In the Rally 4 group, which is the best group of two-wheel drive cars, Timo Schulz and co-driver Michael Wenzel came out on top. The German team also achieved a very good 5th place overall in their Opel Corsa Rally 4. 3rd overall was Günther Knobloch and co-driver Jürgen Rausch. The Austrian, who is at home in Styria, had a great battle with his compatriots Raimund Baumschläger and Kevin Reitz for the last place on the podium of the first day, before he was able to prevail in his Skoda Fabia Rally 2 Evo, a great success. He could, however, not intervene in the fight for the overall victory. Simon Wagner and co-driver Gerald Winter and Hermann Neubauer with co-driver Ursula Meyerhofer were in the lead. After the first day, Hermann Neubauer was only 12 seconds behind and then tried everything again. After the 8th special stage, he was within 8 seconds of Simon Wagner's time in his Skoda Fabia Rally 2 Evo. Everything was ready for an exciting final. But Simon Wagner showed no weaknesses at all. The 30-year-old Austrian champion mastered the pressure and the hot temperatures with aplomb. On the last 4 special stages, he increased his lead to 27 seconds. Altogether, he won 11 of 13 special stages and can celebrate a great success at the Rallye Weiz together with his co-driver Gerald Winter. Three Austrian teams in the first 3 places in the overall ranking, a great success for the Austrians at their ERT home event. The 6th round of the FIA Historic Rally Championship once again offered great sport. In Category 2, for example, cars built between 1970 and 1975, the Italians Paolo Pausuti and co-driver Giovanni Campese came out on top in their Porsche 911 Carrera SC. The first 4 places were won by cars of the Category 4, cars built between 1982 and 1990. After Ernie and Karen Graham had already won the title in Category 1 at the last event, they switched from their Ford Escort MK1 twin cam to a BMW E30 M3 and into Category 4. Here they had a great battle for 3rd place. In the end, however, Germany's Jürgen Geist and his Czech co-driver Josef Kral in their Opel Mantra 400 prevailed by a razor-thin margin. After the lead changed after each special stage, the Opel Mantra was just 0.7 seconds ahead of the BMW after 145 kilometers, securing 3rd place. 2nd place went to the overall leaders, Italian star Lucky and his former WRC vice champion co-driver Fabrizio Pons managed another podium finish in their black Lancia Delta Integrale 16-valve. They were hampered by the time penalties after falling foul of a heavy traffic on the road sections and finished 2nd, 1 minute and 2 seconds behind. But it would have been very difficult to beat Tibor Erdi and his co-driver Istvan Kerek, even without the penalty. In their Ford Sierra Cosworth 4x4, the Hungarian-Croatian duel showed a dominant performance and could celebrate their 3rd victory of the season in the end. In In the overall standings, however, Lucky remains in front in Category 4. After 3 first and 3 second places, he has 186 points. Tibor Erdi is in second place, Antonio Sainz is in third with 102 points. That's it for today. On our next episode of FIA Pure Motorsport, we'll have a closer look at the first 2 rallies of the FIA Rally Star drivers. We'll show you some truck racing from the Czech Republic, and we'll have the best action from the Nitro Limp X at the Hockenheim Ring. Till next time, take care everybody, and ciao.